talk about the India-US strategic partnership, which Joe Biden says has never been more dynamic. We're being told that the United States, Secretary of State Antony Blinken has spoken on Biden's recent visit to G20. He's also spoken about Quad and the economic corridor, that the Spice Route 2.0, spicing things up in the Middle East and Europe. Antony Blinken now getting a fair share, maybe taking some a little portion of the footage over there for himself, because, well, you've got Jake Sullivan, you had Joe Biden, you've got Janet Yellen, everybody came to India. Antony Blinken, किसी ने बात नहीं करी इतने दिन. Maybe he's feeling a little left out. But hey, I mean, they're all appreciating India, so we shouldn't mind that one bit.
I think Modi ka magic Antony Blinken tak bhi finally पहुंच ही गया है, because I've seen after the G20, I have not seen one single country, saying anything against India. Everybody is just so happy to have good bilateral ties with India at this point, and Antony Blinken correctly pointed it out that the India-US ties are so strong right now, the strategic and the defense or in the energy sector, whether we talk about investment, whether we talk about technology transfer, whether we talk about defense technology. The way we have planned out and we have signed agreements with the US, I think it has never happened before. Because the strategic ties, we have seen Biden and Modi walking around like they're best friends. So, and Modi is just so happy to see Biden, Biden is so happy to see Modi. I think these kind of, strong strategic ties with a developed country like US and a global economy is going to definitely strengthen India's economy as well, because these bilateral ties are very important for India at this point, because we are still developing country, and opening the gates, opening the market, especially with the economic corridor. We are finally reaching Europe without any, we have taken the third route. We don't need China, we don't need Pakistan, we'll go by our own. So it's going to, completely change the economy.
The Quad as well. The Quad, it's once happened in Japan, it's once happened in Australia. This time around, it's going to be India. So after the G20, we're also going to be hosting the Quad Summit.
Yeah, and here it says that Shankar may attend Quad SEO meet in New York also. So engagement likely on sideline of the UNGA meet. So Shankar will go there. So there are going to be a lot of talks. A lot of talks are happening, and people are reaching out. Other countries are reaching out to India so that they can have bilateral relations.
Would you like to read a little bit of a portion from that article, because it's interesting that Shankar is going to be in New York.
Yeah, the Foreign Minister S. Shankar is likely to participate in both Quad and Russia and China-led SEO meetings on the margins of the 78th session of the UN General Assembly later this month, during what will be the first visit abroad after the G20 summit in Delhi. Shankar was scheduled to travel to Cuba later this week for the G7 plus China Group Summit, but the plan was dropped after the announcement of the special session of the parliament. So he cannot obviously go to the G7 plus because we have a very important special parliament session going on. But he will now travel to New York after the parliament session and address the UNGA high-level meetings on September 26. So on September 26, we will have Shankar attending the SEO and Quad meetings. On the margins, the Quad and SEO countries are set to finalize dates for foreign ministers meeting. According to diplomat sources, efforts are also on to schedule a meeting of BRICS foreign ministers. So this will be the third time that the Quad foreign ministers will meet on the sidelines of the UNGA. So I think a lot of important talks between the foreign ministers are going to be happening. They are going to set agendas for the, because prime ministers, prime ministers and the obviously
look
the
at
world
that.
leaders.
Look at that friendship over there. That is what India-US ties.
That is what Antony Blinken was talking about, the strong ties between, the candid and yet so playful. Look at them, the chemistry is just so on spot between Biden and Modi. They're so happy to be around each other, which is something that I think is, and here it says also, in Quad, in keeping with its multi-alignment strategy and the long-standing ties with Moscow, India remains the only country to not explicitly condemn the Russia-Ukraine war. So again, in Quad as well, in every summit as well, everybody they have got the message and the memo very clear that India is an independent country. India is not going to, get suppressed by, any global alliance. So now the leaders have come together, they have signed MOUs, they have signed agreements, they have signed, defense deal, technology deals. Now it's time for the foreign ministers to iron out the details and iron out the agendas of the, international summit. So I think it's going to be an interesting outcome of the
Well, I'm
Quad
excited
and
for the
SU
Quad
meets.
Summit. I've made a promise to myself. I'm definitely going to go cover it on from the ground. It is, one of those groupings that I really like. It's not really military, a military alliance, but at the same time, it does carry out naval exercises. So it's interesting to read what Australia, Japan, India, with the help of United States sitting on the other hand, can do for China. In the Indo-Pacific, it seems like a strategic alliance to tackle China. What's going to happen on the diplomatic front? Well, we're going to keep bringing you the latest details.